Welcome to Mark's Motivational Podcast, another Music Sunday. Delighted to be joined by another great guest, Mona Berry, great singer, and I'm really looking forward to talking to Mona today. Thanks a lot for joining, Mona.
Listen, thanks a million for having me, Mark. I really appreciate you asking me to come on.
No, it's great.
I've been seeing some of the others, and I'm like, "Ooh."
Yeah,
So yeah,
great stuff.
great.
Yeah, and we might start off the podcast, if you wouldn't mind telling the listeners a little bit about yourself and your journey as a singer. It's such a great vocal you have, and such a great presence on the stage. I think your music's great.
Oh, thanks very much for the compliment.
Yeah.
My journey it's probably slightly a bit unusual. Now, I'm going to say I'll start when I was 10 years old, but don't panic because I'm not going to go over the last 30, 40 years because I am much old, I'm a mature lady, put it that way. But when I was 10, about 10 years old, I remember I wrote two songs. Now, I lived down the country on a farm, so I didn't kind of mix with people. I wasn't in a town or a village. And I used to come up to the city probably once a year. But obviously, something when I was up one of the times must have impacted me because I wrote two songs. I never did a music theory, never did any learning. And I even remember the name of them. One was called Paper Bag Woman, and it was about a homeless person. And the other one was called Someone Like You. And I remember stealing £20, which was a lot of money back then. It was back in the 1970s, from my mother's purse because my mother used to go up to Dublin and she would buy these women's magazines that we weren't obviously allowed to look at. But I remember sneaking a look at them one day to see, the Women's Weekly and all about cooking and housework and all this stuff back
Yeah.
then. But on the back of it, there was a little advertisement. If you send your songs to this place in America, they would put it on a vinyl for you. So I remember stealing money out of my mother's purse, terrified that she'd find out. I don't remember the process of me getting to the post office because it was about 3 miles away, and which was a lot then when you're 10 because I wasn't allowed on the bus. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I sent the songs off to America and waited patiently for the vinyl to come back. And then one day the postman came and I opened the package and it was the vinyl. And I was so excited. And I got out my mother's, the record player, the ones that are coming back in now, actually, the old
Yeah, the
red
vinyl players. Yeah,
record player.
yeah.
Yeah, lifting the lid, putting on the vinyl, lifting the
Cool.
needle, waiting to hear that crackling sound. And the minute I put the needle on the record, it shot right across it. And I found out later on that what it was that the vinyl was actually designed for a radio station, not for home.
All right.
So it wasn't going to work on a home record player. So anyway, I sent them off to a radio station in Ireland, probably RT1, and that was the end of my musical journey for 40 years, 35, 40 years. And I got a proper job, as your parents wanted to do back then in Ireland, you have to get a proper job. And I got a proper job and I got married and I have my children and I did all of that. And then when my children were like just some of them had left secondary school, I kind of started thinking, when they're all gone now, what am I going to do? Like, who am I? What am I? And I met this lady and I said to her, look, I really want, my kids are growing up now. What do I do? It was probably sort of a midlife crisis. And she said, what is your idea? And I said, well, I might, I was thinking I might go to college. And she goes, well, why do you want to go to college? And I said, well, I've never been to college. I've never got a degree. And my sister got a degree and my cousins had got degrees. And I was like the black sheep. And she goes, okay, well, have you anything else in mind? And then I said, well, then I was thinking, would I go back to work? And she said, well, why do you want to go back to work? And I said, well, I suppose just to get out of the house and feel like I'm doing something because I haven't worked in years. And then she said, well, if you had a dream and money was no object, what would you like to do? And I said, I've always dreamt since I was very small to be a singer and be in a band. That was always been my dream deep down. And she said, if you can afford it, do it. So, I'd worked all my life. I had earned my money and everything, and I was in a position where I could. So I proceeded to do that. I got singing lessons. I couldn't actually initially. When I went to my very first vocal coach, who was actually Kathy Vard. Do you remember the Vard sisters?
Do
I
yeah,
went to
yeah.
her. She was my very first person I went to. And I remember my first day going into her saying, I want to learn how to sing properly. And she goes, well, let's hear you so. And the minute I opened my mouth, I couldn't get out the sound. I couldn't,
Right. Yeah.
tears were flowing. I just could not bear
Yeah.
to hear my own voice. So it took a bit of persuasion, and eventually I started to open up vocally, and then that was about probably 10 years ago, and I have just gone on a journey of
Brilliant.
doing vocal lessons, everything. And then the most important time for me was I went to another vocal coach a few years on for a different, you kind of learn how different vocal things in different stages. And she had set up this course, six to 8 week course with her own band, because she knew that a lot of people going to her for vocal lessons would never actually get the opportunity to perform on stage. So she
Yeah.
had set up this 6 to 8 week course where you learn 3 songs, and
Mm.
then at the end of it, you would go to the Bello Bar in Rathmines, and her band would sing with us and we would get the opportunity. And I will always remember the first time I set foot on the stage in the Bello Bar, and I just thought, I'm home. I finally,
Brilliant.
finally come home. This is where I should have been
Mm.
all my life. I'm glad I wasn't in some ways, because I see people now and they're really struggling to make a living, and it's very hard to get your songs out there. I'm in a position now where I'm doing it for pure and utter enjoyment.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm very lucky because I don't feel under pressure to write a song for a particular time and to get it out there and have it on social media. If I put them out, I put them out. And if I don't, I don't. And
Nice way to be. Yeah. Yeah.
that's my journey. And like, I've never looked back. And I feel like I have finally arrived
Mm.
in the place I've always felt, not that I didn't belong, but that there was something missing. And
Right.
I know what it is. And I absolutely, I went back to BIM there 2 years ago, and I did a part-time production course, and I loved every minute of that. Anything musical. When I'm with musicians at the open mics, I just feel like I feel relaxed, I feel comfortable, I feel I know what I'm talking about. Um, and I feel like I'm at home and I'm with my people. And that sounds like a cliche, but it's not. I actually feel I'm with my people. These are the
Yeah.
people who I know will be able to connect with me, and I can connect with them through music and through song, you know?
Yeah, that's a great story, Mona. Thanks a lot for sharing because that's very inspirational for anyone who's listening as well. So thank you for that. To know they can do something like even if it's they haven't done it in the past, they can always go ahead and
Never too late.
set their mind to it. Like that's absolutely brilliant. And have
Never
you
too.
have any songs that are out at the moment? Have you any songs
I,
released recently you'd like to talk about?
I started at putting songs on SoundCloud, and I have
Mm.
about 5 or 6 songs on there, one cover, and the rest are all my own original songs.
Yeah,
I have 3 of them are on Spotify, but I have an Instagram page, and I have put I've one song which my first time to ever go into a studio. I had done a lot of the prep work myself because I absolutely adore the production side. I adore I use Ableton, going in and making my own tracks and listen to a
brilliant.
beat and then putting in and adding this. And it's like I'm an
Mm.
artist, and I've got a picture frame and I
Yeah,
have a canvas, and I'm adding colors here and there, but I don't feel I'm professional. I'm good enough yet to professionally release it. So what I do is I like to do a lot of groundwork and then go and get a professional producer. So I did that with my song Sunbirds.
right. Okay.
And that was about 3 or 4 months ago. That's on my Instagram account. And
That's a great
yeah,
song. You played that the last open mic, didn't
did.
you? Yeah, that was
I
great. Yeah.
did. Yeah, that was to me. It was all about. Listen, I'm not a political person. I don't get involved in politics too much.
Mm.
I don't get involved in politics at all. I think there's people in the world who are there to do things they love and are really interested. And I'm not that type of person. It's just not my nature.
Yeah.
But I just do. I felt very strongly about, and I do feel very strongly about children getting caught up in
I
wars.
know. I
No
know.
matter where they are, it doesn't matter what side they're on. That all to me, that is irrelevant. To
Yeah.
me, it's
Yeah.
children should not be caught up in wars. And I wrote this song. I'm very judgmental of my music, and part of me, somebody said to me one day, "Oh, it's very upbeat," and I'm thinking, but it's about children dying. But it's a kind of a song to me of defiance.
Hmm.
It's a song of hope.
Yeah.
Um, and you look, I didn't get any training to be a writer. I just kind of write as I feel. Sometimes
Hmm.
I might put the wrong chord progression into a sad song, or I might put, I don't know. I just know I wrote it, I put it out there, and you know, I hope it
Yeah,
gets the message across to the people who to say, look, adults, don't be killing children. It's nothing to do with them, you know. So that's where that inspiration for that song came.
yeah. And what like kind of the question there that what do you hope people will get or listen to that particular song? Like you've explained it very well there, but what do you hope people will get when they're checking it out?
I just hope they will look at it and kind of, I suppose try and I know day to day people can't, like I know people say, look, you need to try and do something. You can't just be singing about it. That's the only thing I can do. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have any other things that I can do and go. I just hope some people will hear it and kind of just remember what's going on and not forget what's going on, because when something goes on for a long time, people tend to switch off, and there's always something new on the TV, or always some new piece of news, and it's just a kind of a song that I hope that helps people remember what's going on in the different countries and not to forget, so we do not forget those people who are dying. I'm
exactly.
not saying
Yeah,
that what my song is going to change anything, but I just want people not, it's probably not to let people forget what's going on. So we keep fighting to make sure that these wars end and that children aren't caught up in it. And it was just, I suppose, me expressing that really of my frustration
yeah.
and trying to keep the whole picture alive, really.
No, thanks
That's the
very much for that, Mona. That's great. Yeah, because um, if people haven't, I'm going to ask you to share your links so I can put them on the show notes as well for people to check out your songs. But for
yeah.
people who haven't heard your music, what would be the go-to, would you reckon, for to check out your songs, your one
Uh,
to recommend to check out first?
Well, Instagram would be the best one purely because I have all
Yeah.
the links to SoundCloud and on Spotify. I think I might have two songs, but they're also on sorry, on Spotify. They're also on SoundCloud. But I'm hoping I'm releasing another one now. I've met another producer who I'm meeting in November with a song that I have, and I'm hoping to put that out on Spotify when it comes up. So my artist name is Aruba, Aruba underscore music 65. And that's my Instagram page. So I will, anytime a song comes out, I will be putting it on my Instagram page. And I have all the links on it as well if you want to click on SoundCloud or Spotify, or because I'm also involved, I'm also a member of a lead singer of the rock band, the lovely the Long Mile Club. Not, I'm also a lead singer of a classic rock band called the Long Mile Club. We are a cover band, but we write a lot of our own music. So we're hoping to start recording an EP in the next couple of months as well. Yeah, so I kind of have loads of little things going on, really. I love it. It's a buzz. It gives me that adrenaline rush, and that's all I can ask for in music, is that it just keeps me happy. It's great.
And you're in with Sergio as well,
I
Sergio as
am,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sergio's
yeah,
the guitarist in the band as well. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we're out there.
Brilliant. And which particular song would you say would be best place to start, like for people that are going to check out your music, Mona?
I,
What song would you recommend people to listen to
um,
first? Yeah.
God, it's a tough one because even though I'm the age I am, I feel like I am like an 18-year-old coming out of school going into music. I haven't really found my genre. I am playing around with where I'm beginning to get a very small sense of a direction I want to go in, but I just have got that feeling in the last month or so. But my songs are really inspired by life events, and my lyrics aren't complicated. You will know when I say what I say. It's not complicated. You don't have to try and work out through, I think, metaphors and stuff. But what you trying to say? They're very clear, very
Yeah.
simple. And Sunbirds is probably the one that it's probably the biggest one because the other ones were self-produced. And I actually got another one produced very wonderfully by Rob McLeod as well. It's on SoundCloud. He did a great job on that one as well. So Sunbirds probably to start with, but I'm excited about my new one coming out as well. So, but it will also be available. You'll be able to find it through the Instagram when it comes out. I'll be letting people know what's coming out then.
So everybody watch this space, and I'm going to share all your music as well on the show notes, Mona.
Yeah, watch
That's
this
great.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I ask you, how do you find performing at the open mics as well, Mona? I know you said earlier on you love it, it's great, but is there any particular gigs that you have coming up you'd like to tell people about, as
I
well as the open mics?
nothing particular coming up. I tend to, because I have a family and
Mm.
I'm actually in the middle of doing a 3 week intensive acting course at the moment,
Oh, great.
purely to help me work on my performance because I think when you start doing something very young, you become quite used to it and it's second nature. But because I started late and I did struggle up to like my late 40s till I started my vocal coaching with being in front of people and using my voice. So I have to do a lot of work and I am a bit of a perfectionist. So I'm doing that at the moment and it's going on for another 2 weeks. So when that's done, I hope to start going back to the open mics. I mean, I did the Connect Factor in Lucan, which I loved. We did
Yeah,
the
that's
Lucan
great.
Festival there about 3 weeks ago, which was just we actually had 1,500 people, I think, at that listening in the park, and that was so easy compared to
Brilliant.
the open
Yeah,
mics. And you go in and there's
yeah.
10 people there and they're all artists and you just, even though it should be, in some ways it is more relaxing because they're going through what you're going through. But at the
Mm.
same time, an intimate setting is quite more difficult for me.
Yeah,
So I hope to do that one. I definitely will go back to the wild duck for sure. And yeah, the Connect Factor they were so good there and that was really, really nice. And I've done Fibbers before. So but anytime I will be making a decision to do an open mic, I always put it up on my Instagram page.
right.
But as I
Yeah,
said, because you know yourself when you have a family and that they have to come
I know.
first.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
if I don't plan too far ahead.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, if you want to maybe share, if you have any gigs coming up, share the dates and I can put them on your podcast notes as well, probably to
Absolutely,
help
I
you out.
will for sure, will for sure. And I
Yeah, that's
also have to
great.
wait till Sergio is available because he is so good. He supports me. I have another
Mm.
guitarist who I'm working with now who hopefully he will be able to support me as well because I don't want to always keep calling on Sergio because he's
Yeah,
he's he's in quite in demand. So but yeah, so it's really when they're available as well that I kind of try, and that's when I'll do the open mics. So yeah.
great. And how do you find co-writing? I know I went to the Imbro workshop before where you write with different people. Have you done that yourself, Mona?
I did. I went to the Imro one about a year ago and I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. And then I
yeah.
went to it there sometime this year and that went really well. I didn't end up connecting with those people again. Um, I've done the Drogheda Festival as well and really enjoyed that one. But the Imro one was very interesting. It was very, very good. I haven't actually I do struggle with confidence a lot. So reaching out to people and going, do you want to keep working on this? I probably would be a little bit slow on the uptake. But as I said, I'm kind of just starting out and I did actually get an email one day last year from a guy in England who heard my song and he sent me a backing track that of a song that he had done the musical part, but it wasn't a singer. And he said, I have a title and I have the music and the backing track. And he said, would you be able to write a song? And I thought, oh, wow, that's a big step for me. And I did.
Yeah.
And then actually, we haven't released it properly yet because he's in England and I've never met him and I'm in Ireland.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
it actually came out really well and thought, I can do
brilliant.
this. I
Yeah.
actually do this. Yeah. So when we get that sorted, we're going to release that.
Mm.
Yeah, so that gave me really great confidence because I
Brilliant.
actually just sat down and normally I write my songs from personal experience. That's where I get
Mm.
my inspiration. And this time it was a big step outside the normal for me to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
mindful, giving it back and try. And I remember I just sat there and I went, don't rush it. There's no rush. I sat there and I listened to it and then I listened to it again. And the title alone just brought up stuff and it just kind of happened. And I thought, wow,
Yeah.
co-writing is brilliant. And yeah, I mean, I'm always open to co-writing. Always open. I'm lyrics, whatever, lyrics, producing the part or doing the music. I'm absolutely open to it for sure. I think it's a great way to develop as well as an artist.
Yeah,
So
that's great. And I hope that one works out well for you. That
yeah,
sounds really
I'm
good.
actually excited.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
just it's just the logistics because he's there and I'm here and
Of course,
all
yeah.
that
Yeah.
the other side of it where who owns the lyrics and all, like that's all the side of the business thing that you suppose you have to work out as well. And there's so much. I just feel like because I'm more mature and I feel like I need to learn it all now. That's not
Yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah,
But I feel more probably putting myself under pressure that I want to learn about the music side, the production side. I'd love to learn to play the guitar so I can play with, play along without having to ask somebody, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do it all now. I think it's like opening a bottle of 7 Up and going, it's so good. I just want to drink it all at once, but you
yeah.
can't.
Like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. But
yeah,
that's just
yeah,
the excitement of it. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love it, love
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's great. Yeah. Is there anything else I haven't asked you today, Mona, that you'd like to maybe share with people that are listening and watching on YouTube?
Um, No, I suppose just because I was kind of thinking, oh God, I wonder, like inspiration wise, I just find myself being inspired by events in my life.
Mm,
That's where
yeah.
I get my inspiration, and you know, uh, also if I hear someone else's voice or some people's lyrics, like there recently, I went to San Francisco to see my son. He was studying over there, and my
Oh, yeah.
the only thing I wanted to do for the whole month I was there was to go to Laurel Canyon in San Francisco and just I went on a tour. I was meant to go with 3 people and the other two didn't show up. I didn't know who they were, but they didn't show up and I ended up going around with the lady on my own and it was just, oh my God. She told me all the story. Laurel Canyon from the 70s and
Mm,
Echo in the Canyon with Jacob Dylan. I absolutely adored that documentary. It was fabulous. And listening to
yeah.
all the music from the Mamas and Papas and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and it was just that was the highlight of my trip. Well, apart from seeing my son, of course,
Yeah.
but it was the
Yeah.
highlight of my trip was just going around the Hollywood Hills and listening to the stories. And each house had a story from the different artists, and where
Oh,
Neil Young
brilliant.
used to practice, and where John Lennon had his affair with the lady that Yoko Ono had told to
Yeah.
go and mind and make sure he was okay. And oh, I just I could have lived there. It was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. But yeah, so.
Brilliant. Yeah. Great stuff. Lovely. Some trip. All right. Sounded great.
Well worth a visit for anybody who's into their music. It's well
Yeah.
worth the tour, well worth the money just getting
Yeah.
that
Cool.
tour. Fabulous.
Cool. And how have you found recording your music with Rob? Because I've worked with Rob McLeod as well.
Oh, he was
He's
so,
very,
so
very,
easy
very
to
good.
work with.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like,
Just to give him.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So easy to work with, and he made a great job. And just the whole final production and everything. I was great, and he was very easy to work with, and it
Yeah.
flowed really, really well.
Yeah.
Absolutely
No,
fab.
I second that. I definitely check out Rob's stuff. I had him on the
Great,
podcast before.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great guy, and it was great. He's taken over the IMRO the sessions now, and he's doing a fantastic job. So it's trying to get. I just listen. If I was on my own and I had no one here, I would be at every songwriting class, every meetup, every open
Yeah.
mic,
Yeah. I
everything
know.
I could go to. And yeah,
Me too.
but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to remember who's important in your life as well, and put them in order of importance.
Exactly. And I just want to mention as well, the WhatsApp group that Sergio set up, and I'm one of
Oh,
the admin for it. That's really good, isn't it? It's really building up
oh my God,
momentum.
the open micers, yeah, like fair
Yeah,
play to Sergio, and like he's in Ireland what 10 years, but he
yeah,
what a brilliant idea,
yeah,
because we
great. Yeah,
meet each other now and again, and you're going, when's this on? And it's like being in a second family.
yeah. It's
You're
even for
all
networking, isn't it? Even for networking is great, isn't it? Yeah,
fantastic,
yeah,
fantastic. And hearing about things coming up and going to see this, and then someone might need a piano player, and you go, anyone here play a piano? And do you know what I would love to do is just have a night where we just have these big showcase of the open micers, and we could all just have a
that'd be
night to
amazing.
launch
Yeah,
ourselves because it would just be fantastic. But
that's a
it was
great idea.
such a good idea, and it's building and growing, and it's like a little family has become this big group of people, and it's brilliant. Absolutely great idea. Great idea.
Yeah. So that's great, Mona. Thanks a lot for coming on the podcast, and I'm looking forward to sharing all your music. If you just send me by email all your links, and I can put them up in the show notes for you.
I will indeed. And listen, thanks a million for having me, Mark.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
will absolutely be meeting you on the circuit
Yeah.
very soon.
Definitely. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching and listening on Spotify to Mona Barry's podcast. I'm going to share all our music, so make sure you check it out. So till next time, take good care of yourselves, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks very much, Mona.
Thanks very much, Mark. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, Mark here. Thank you for watching another episode of my Authors Tuesday podcast. I recently published a book of children's stories called The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. The book began life as bedtime stories I wrote for my own children. If you'd like to purchase my book, follow the link in the description box below. By buying my book, you are also supporting my podcast series for authors, which is giving a voice to writers in Ireland and across the world.